Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back with a new set of daily races for you. So remember, if you do enjoy these videos, give the channel a subscribe, hit that like button and hit that notification button so you don't miss any future videos. For this week's video, we're going to start with Daily Race C, a little bit of a mix up there. We're going to start with Daily Race C for a change because I really like this race. Now I'm using the Megane because I think the Megane 86, the 86, the Megane and the 4C and the Ferrari are very strong cars around there. I think the Ferrari is going to suffer a bit of the tyre wear though. But yeah, in general, they're the cars that I think are going to do well. A bit of advice, do not use a four-wheel drive car or an FF car because you will die at the end. This is a no-stop race without any pit stops, so you do not need to pit. If you do pit, you're going to lose so much time. So we're starting P15 in this. We had Tidgeny in this race as well, starting from P5, so make sure you check his channel out if you haven't already done so. And yeah, let's get on with this race. A really fun week. I'm actually looking forward to this week's races because there's a lot of fun racing to be had. So this one in particular is always enjoyable. Group 4 at Suzuka with tyre wear, brings out the Megane, and I love the Megane. So let's try and see what we can do with the Megane at this Daily Race C. So going into turn 1, just be cautious on that opening lap. You don't want to brake too late with the tyres being a little bit colder than normal, and you don't want to run off wide, and you will obviously, as soon as you clip the curbs at this track in Group 4, your car's just gone, so be very careful. So yeah, through the winding section to start sector 1, just trying to get close to the Mazda in front of us, and as you can tell, yeah, try not, I really advise you not to use any of these cars for this race because front tyre wear and also rear tyre wear, you really don't want to use a four-wheel drive car or an FF car for this race. I think maybe the McLaren, the Ferrari, the Megane, 86, 4C are all going to be good. There's another car that will be very good, but I think it will just murder the front tyres. The Mustang is a surprisingly good car at this track. However, it will absolutely kill its front tyres, so just be cautious of that also. But yeah, into the braking zone here, we're going to take advantage of them going side by side. We take a tight line, then go over to the right hand side because we're going to hit that car and bump draft in forward because we want to be on the inside and get the slipstream, and that will get us up into P14. So there's one position gained already on lap 1. Haven't really gained many positions so far. Obviously with the rolling start, you find the field spread is quite high, so 10 seconds behind the leader at the moment. But yeah, down into third gear, we take a nice move up the inside there and put ourselves up to P13, trying to get nice and tight to the apex, powering out of that corner, and now working our way up this straight now. So yeah, just fast forwarding the action as we've got no one in front of us, and we're going to start this lap, and we're going to try and give you some sort of a lap guide for this race. So down the straight, now we are getting a bit of a slipstream from P12 here, and you can see I'm going to go for a bit of a brave move on him. So we give him a little flash to let him know that I am going to send this. We flash him, and then we go down the right side, we pull out for the move. He does give us a little bit of space there, and he basically leaves us the perfect amount of space to go for the move. So we make that move, braking just before the 50 board on the left hand side. Now through here, 4th gear, try and get it to the apex, and downshift the 3rd gear, hit the right hand tyre on that curb, and then again upshift to 4th gear, try and get your left hand tyre to touch the green bit of Astro almost on the left there, then downshift to 3rd, let the car coast, let the car just rotate itself through this corner, upshift to 4th gear, and almost flat out through here. Just a tiny bit of a lift you see on the throttle there just to help the car with the rotation, and you can do it flat, but I always give it a little safety lift just to make sure. Now braking just before the 50 board, downshift to 4th gear, throwing it into these corners, use some of the curb on left, downshift to 3rd gear, use some of the curb on the right. We almost missed a bit of the curb there, ran a little bit wide, probably lost myself a tenth or so there, but now we're going to go into the next braking zone where we're going to brake just at the end of the curb on the right hand side, down to 2nd gear, hold 2nd gear in the Megane, and then power out of the corner. The car will rotate on power, and then work your way up into the next left hand corner. So yeah, completely flat through this right hand obviously, and then you're going to be looking for the grey bit of tarmac on your right hand side. At that point, you're going to downshift the 4th gear almost as your car is level with the grey tarmac. So there, downshift the 4th gear, hold 4th gear, let the car drift over to the right, touch the curb. As you touch the curb, down to 3rd gear, then power out of the corner and work your way down the straight. Now obviously completely flat out now, and you're going to be working your way into 130R, which in the Megane is pretty much completely flat at the start of the race because obviously the grip on this car. So you're going up to 5th gear, and you're going to stay in 5th gear through the corner. So just before the 50 board, turn into the left, get the left hand tyre to touch the grass basically, and keep it completely flat through there, and then brake just before the 100 board on the left hand side, down to 2nd gear, use the curb on the right, then cut as much of this corner as you dare get away with, early upshift to 3rd gear, and then power your way down to the start, finishing straight. So not a bad lap this. It could have been a better, few little mistakes in there, but a 208.7 is a pretty solid lap, and we actually do an overtake there to put ourselves up into P11. So not a bad start to this race. We're now on lap 3 and we're up to P11, but we're still quite a way behind the leaders up ahead. You can see they're quite a distance ahead, but the Megane is very strong. We've got some cars up ahead that are not going to be as strong on tyre. We've got a Citroen in front of us. We just fast forward this action until we get a little bit closer to that group in front, and you can see there's a Cayman up there as well, and the Megane obviously is going to be better at this track than the Citroen and the Cayman. So this will be interesting. Getting into this zone again, you can see the Megane so much stronger than some other cars around here. We almost lose control there. We just about got away with that, just about saved it from being sent into the shadow realm. But now we're going to work our way just about in the slipstream here. You can see we're going to lose it though probably by the end of the straight. That is how slow the Megane is down the straights, but don't worry, this car through the corners is an absolute monster. Even from the back of the grid, you can make moves in this car because it's got so much grip through the corners. It will put you in situations where cars cannot brake as late, so braking just for that 100 board. And you can see this train of cars. We've got I think it's P5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and myself in P11 all in a line here. This is pretty crazy. This is going to be interesting. We've got obviously 6 more laps to go now, and we've got a lot of cars in front of us. We can see Ticcioni's up to P2 in the Ferrari. I think he's using the Ferrari from this race. I think he started in P5. Now obviously that Ferrari is going to be very strong at the start of the race. However, I think the front tyre wear will start to affect it because the Ferrari does use the fronts up. So yeah, be cautious if you're using that car, but it definitely can be used. I remember using that car myself here for an FIA race. It's a really nice car to drive around this track. So yeah, give it a try, definitely, I say. But working our way through here, we're really putting the Citroen under pressure. You can see we're trying to work him side to side at the moment. We're trying to wrong foot him side. You can see that we actually end up tapping him up the rear there, and again he lifts where the Megane doesn't need to lift, so I wasn't expecting that, but that is purely because the Citroen cannot take the speed that the Megane can through some of these corners. So yeah, just be cautious when you're following other cars because they are going to be lifting where you don't expect them to. So down to third gear, trying to get it into the apex. Nice exit from that corner. We're going to go to the right hand side. Can we go for a move here? Obviously the Megane can brake very late into these corners, and also it can rotate itself. So I decided to send it up the inside, downshift the first gear, get it stopped. No contact with the Citroen. A really nice move there. And now he's got the right hand side. However, we just got a little bit of slipstream here. You can see we're just holding on to a bit of slipstream, and actually Found Shouty decides to let us through there. So thank you, Found Shouty. He lets us through and decides to tuck into our slipstream instead of battling it out. So now we've got the Porsche in front of us. Let's see if we can get past this Porsche with that very bright livery on it. It actually reminds me of a Matchbox car that I used to own when I was young, that livery on that. So working our way down the straight now. Can we go for a move before the chicane at the end of the lap? So we've obviously got the 130R, which again the Megane is going to be very strong on. So again, we're staying close here. I decided to come out the slipstream so I can get myself a little bit of a run through this corner because we know the Megane's very strong. We take that much faster than the Cayman. Fake to left, and we've opened up the corner. We've got a little bit of a gap there. Brake very late, downshift the second, and then first gear, and we make the corner perfectly. A really nice move there. And then we've got chaos in front. 2 cars, one collides into the other, and we get very lucky with a 2-car pass there and up into P7. So 5 laps to go and we're in P7, and we're actually gaining on the leader at the moment. So this is very interesting. We're gaining quite a bit on the leader. Ticcioni's probably gaining on the leader also. We can just about see them as we come through here. The Cayman also just slides out wide, and he's off the track. You don't want to do that on this track because turn 1 is a nightmare. You will lose so much time going wide there. But you can see up ahead, looks like Ticcioni is right behind P3, just following Ticcioni. P4, 5 and myself in P6. So we need to get through these 2 cars in front as early as possible, because at this stage I'm thinking the win is actually possible here. It all depends on how fast we can get past some of these cars in front of us. But yeah, it's such a fun race. I love Suzuka, and I hope you lot are going to be on this tonight. I'm definitely going to be streaming this track later, so make sure you check out the channel later because I will be live doing these races from the back of the grid, although it's going to be difficult. We're going to have to set a time, but we've got to be careful that we're not too slow, because if you're too slow, you're going to be starting P20, and everyone knows about this, and you will get the glitch where you start under the bridge, and we don't want that. So we're going to have to be very cautious about the lap time we set. But yeah, working our way through here. We're going to go to the left-hand side, and you can see that P5 has got the inside line. We're going to try and just tuck into his slipstream. It looks like he's just lost the slipstream to the Alpha 4C in front of him. So can we go for a move into this corner? I do like to go for a move here. So we go down left, brake as late as possible, up the inside, and another nice move to put ourselves up into P5. So far, going quite well this race. We're up to P5 already, and we've still got 4 laps to go. So this is going to be very interesting. We know that the Megane is very strong here. We're only 4.5 seconds away from the leader. Fast forward the action there, and then we're going to go for the move on the 4C. Bit of slipstream. This move, he doesn't fight this. He just lets us go. I think he wanted to get into my slipstream to see if I could drag him forward a bit. But through here, you can see we're going to just keep it nice and smooth. Down to 3rd gear. Hold the apex before getting on that throttle. And now we can see P1. We're not far behind. So we're going to skip ahead of about a lap and a half. And we've managed to catch up to P3. This is going to be incredibly insane. You see Tidgeney's managed to get himself in the lead. However, we need to get past P3 and 2 as soon as possible for an opportunity to battle with Tidgeney. I think that Ferrari will be suffering with tyres, because we can just see now with the Ferrari in front of us, he has no grip through these corners. Look how much extra speed the Megane can take through it. We actually give him a nudge there, so I give him a little flash of the lights just to apologise for that. You can see we just give him a little flash coming out of that corner just to say sorry for that, and he puts his hazards on just to say he saw the flash, just so we both know nothing deliberate there. So yeah, he puts his hazards on, and now we're going to work our way through. And you can just see how much better the Megane is at this stage of the race. So much stronger than the Ferrari on the last few laps. You can see we're all over the rear of this Ferrari. However, that Ferrari is quite good on acceleration, so it's always going to be a difficult car to go for an overtake. So into the braking zone, trying to stop the car there, into the apex, getting on the throttle as early as we can, see if we can get the slipstream from the Ferrari in front of us. Now this is going to be, can we go for that move? We've already done a couple of these moves into this left-hand corner up ahead. Can we do it again? So he's going to go defensive by the looks of it. He's staying over to the left. So I'm going to go to the right this time, and then we're going to brake early, a lot earlier than what we normally would, then get the car rotated into 3rd gear and power through the corner nice and tight to apex, and we do a lovely move there, putting ourselves up into P3, sorry, and now we've got to chase after P2. So first up though, will he be able to fight back with the slipstream? We know how strong the Ferrari is. He's 3 tenths behind, but just watch how fast that Ferrari will gain on us on the power zone. But he's not going to go for a move. I think he's going to play it safe here. You can see he plays it safe, waits there, and then through the corner, obviously Megane can take a little bit more than the Ferrari. So fast forward the action until we manage to catch up the Megane in front. And it doesn't take us long to actually catch him up. We've got 2 laps left in this race. We are catching Tidgeney, but as soon as we get behind another car, obviously we start losing a bit of time. See, we gain 3 tenths there on Tidgeney, but then as soon as we're behind this Megane in front, we're going to have to lose out a bit. You can see he's not as confident. Again, this Megane in front of us seems to be struggling with tyre wear. So yeah, my 2 to the rear brake bias, it feels very good. I think that it provides quite a nice balance with the tyre wear. You could probably go 3 to the rear as we give him a little nudge there. He brakes very, very early, but that, yeah, a little tap, but no harm done. But now can we go for that same move that we've done on the Ferrari before? So this is going to be a bit more difficult because the Megane obviously is better on the tyres. So will we be able to pull the same move off? So we're going to go to the right, brake early, downshift to 3rd, then to 3rd gear to get the rotation onto the apex, and we do it again, exactly same move, another nice move there, up into P2. So nice strong exit from the corner as well, and that is going to be able to, that basically makes us so we've got P2s secured here now. But Tidgeney is about 4.2 seconds ahead of us, 4.3, but then as soon as we get to the corners, we're going to gain a bit. As we go over the start finishing line, you can see there, 4 seconds behind, dead on 4 seconds behind. That is too much to really gain. But I thought, do you know what? He could make a little mistake. So we're going to push on this lap and see if we can catch him up. Because we all know that at this track, it's very easy to make a mistake. You know, one little bit of curb used too much and you are sliding. So I thought, we'll push. Nothing to lose. We started from the back. Let's see what we can do. And you can see straight away, this really does also emphasize how much stronger the Megane is at the end of the race compared to the Ferrari. We gained half a second nearly, 4 tenths just on this first sector alone. So through the first corners, 4 tenths, 3 tenths through there. And then through here, you're going to see we're going to gain even more time where we can keep the power down compared to the Ferrari. Another 2 tenths gained there. And it's down to 3.4 seconds from 4 seconds. So yeah, 6 tenths gained already on this lap. And then through these 2 right-hand corners, we're probably going to gain a little bit more time because, again, the Ferrari is going to be struggling on front-end grip. And you can see, again, 3.1 seconds. So we've gained nearly a second on him on this lap. So we're down actually under the 3-second mark. And then through here again, trying to get on the power. We actually turned in a little bit too early there. I actually had more grip than I expected. So didn't gain as much as I would have possibly done. So at this stage, we're 1.2 seconds up on the Ferrari. However, the Ferrari is going to gain a little bit of that time back on these next 2 zones with the power section. You can see there, pulling back a bit on the straights where it's a little bit faster, but then again through this corner the Megane is going to be a little bit stronger, so again we pull a bit back there, and then coming out of this corner we get it back under 3 seconds, that gap, as we put the foot down and work our way onto the straight. But then again that Ferrari is going to pull away on this straight section here, get that lead back over 3 seconds. So we've gained about a second on the Ferrari at this lap, and I thought, do you know what, we're going to send it through because you never know, he could make a little mistake himself. And as we come through, you can see we get the corner lined up okay, and we just skim the curb, and then we get that really frustrating, and we totally bin it on the curb. Really annoyed me that, because it's just one of them weird things on GT. We've seen many drivers do this as well. I think B Racer did it in the World Finals, and we've seen many other drivers do it. It's so common to do. Happens, it's easily done. I was quite frustrated, as you can see, as we go over the finishing line, and I'll show you as we come through the 130i. Let's just show you on the replay so you can see. We come through here, we get the left hand tyre onto the curb pretty much spot on. We just push it too much, and you can see as soon as it's when your right hand tyre is right in the middle of the green Astro and the curb, it just instant spins. So kind of a frustrating end, because we had a really good P2 there from the back of the grid, but we threw it trying to drive too aggressive on that final lap. But no harm done. We move on to Daily Race A now, and it's at Dragon Trail Gardens, and this is very similar to the hatchback race that we had not so long ago. Actually a really fun race. I'm definitely going to do some of this because it reminds me of that race. It's in different cars this time. You can see we're in the older version this time, because that does seem to be the stronger car. We've also got Tijani in this race as well. He's starting just behind the He's on the right side. We go down the left hand side here. We see a bit of a gap open up, and we've got Jim Bray in front of us. We brake a little bit early so we don't hit him. And then keep your eye on our right hand side. We have the cars that just send it in here. The white one sends it. He pushes him off, and we're just getting battered around here. But Tijani on our right hand side there now goes to go down the right hand side, but he obviously hits the white car in front of him. And now we're going to see absolute hell break loose, because as we go down into the braking zone, I have a little look down the left hand side to see if a move is possible down this left hand side, and I thought, no, we're not going to do it. We're going to brake early. We brake pretty much on the 150 board. The car behind doesn't brake, it just sends us into the shadow realm, and it all kicks off here. You can see cars going everywhere. Tijani actually gains a nice bit of time around the outside there, puts himself up to P5 I think, so we're down to P10. Jim Bray's down to P11. Absolute nightmare start. And then again, this French driver in front, you're going to see through, he rams into the side of the Spanish driver, pushes him off. He goes to the right side. I managed to get myself up into the left hand side, and then yeah, I think the Spanish driver rage quit after what the French driver had done to him, because he stopped on the track and I think he just gave up. But yeah, very aggressive race. Now, you're going to find this on Daily Race A. It's always going to be hit and miss, but I have to say, it's still fun. We're definitely going to be doing some of this Daily Race A throughout the week. It's an enjoyable race. It's a fun race. It really does remind me of the one we had in the hatchbacks. A little bit different handling car this time, a little bit bigger. You have to be a bit more cautious into some of the braking zones. It's going a little bit faster, as again, we see an opportunity there. We put ourselves up into P7 with a nice move there. We actually saw him run wide, and then the car behind sends him off into the grass. So yeah, the white car behind us was, I think that might have been the car that sent us off, sent myself off with the car that's in front of us. Now them two cars sent us off into on the first lap as well at the start through here, when it got all a bit chaotic. But as we come through here, the car in front starts going a bit wide. We're going to go to the left. We've got the inside there. We're a little bit aggressive, but yeah, this race, you've got to get your shoulders out. You've got to be like that, because if you don't, everyone's going to do it to you anyway. So we come through here, and now over the curb. Didn't really hook that up. Not really the best through here. This isn't the best lines. We'll do a bit of a track guide as we fast forward the action and work our way to start another lap. As you can see, coming through here, they are very close in front of us. A little bit of battling going on between P3, 4 and 5, which is meaning we're going to catch them up on this lap, or possibly the next lap. So as we work our way through into the braking zone, you can see, looking up ahead, found Shelty. Goes a little bit wide there. We're going to get into third gear very early, and we're going to give you a little bit of a track guide now as we work our way up the straight now. So into turn 1, you're going to look out for the overhead board for your turning in point into turn 1. You're going to see it just as we come through here. So there's your first one. On your second one there, you're going to just throw the car in just after that, down to fourth gear, get the left hand tyre onto the curb as much as possible, and then keep the power down, working your way to the full width of the track, and then braking just around the 100 board on the right hand side, or a little bit before, does help with the rotation. Get the car to the left hand side on the curb, and then aim for that sausage, get the middle of the car over that, and then again aim for the sausage and get the middle of the car over again. And we see Fountain Shelty has picked up half a second penalty there, so this is going to be interesting when he takes that penalty. So working our way down into the next braking zone, and this is where you notice the difference between this car and the hatchbacks. With the hatchbacks you could brake much later. With this you have to brake just past the 150 board, almost on the 150 board, down to second gear, get the car rotated on the curb, power out of the corner, and work your way into the twisty section, which again, this car cannot take quite as fast as a hatchback, so you have to be a little bit more cautious as we work our way through here. Just lift off a little bit, down to third gear, let the car rotate itself, and then get the car to the right and then swing it into the left. Get the left hand tyre as much on that curb as possible, and then use some of the curb on the right hand side. You can get away with that, and then working your way down into the next brake zone, where you brake just as that board on the left hand side, again that black board on the left, down to third gear. Try and keep the car tight through here, all the way through, and then when you're confident you can get on the power, keep the power down, upshift to fourth gear, and yeah, just work your way into the final corner again, where you're going to be braking around between the 150 and the 100 board on the right hand side. So there's the 150, there's the 100, so brake just in between them, down to third gear, and then I actually think staying in third gear is pretty good to do on this corner. Stay in third gear, get the car lined up so you can get on the power nice and early, and work your way now down to the start finishing line. So not a bad lap, not perfect, but as a little bit of a quick track guide while we're doing this video, it's not that bad. It's a 1:54.6, so it's fastest lap of the race so far. It's not particularly amazing, but it will do for a little bit of a guide. So yeah, as we're catching up now, we're catching up to P3, 4 and 5 on the final lap, so a podium might be possible here as we work our way if they start battling in front. So trying to make sure we brake early there, get the car onto the apex, and again get the car onto the apex. So I have to lift a little bit there as Shelty doesn't quite take the speed through the corner. He's going to take that penalty now, and we're going to just probably be able to get past him without much effort there. So yeah, straight past him when he's took that half-second penalty. He's going to lose about a second with that, and then into the braking zone, where we're going to see the Spanish driver in front absolutely sends Ticheney one, and I don't know if it's deliberate, but he knocks into the side of his car there, carries on. But that's going to give me the opportunity now to go for a move on the Spanish driver. So we're going to go to the left hand side here. We've got a nice run on him, and we're going to be side by side for it. So he stays to the left there, doesn't give us much space, but these cars do understeer quite a bit. So as we come through here, we're on the left hand side, he powers through, we're going to stay to the left here, onto the curb. We leave him enough space on that curb on the right hand side, because obviously you can use that curb, and we pull a nice move off there to put ourselves up to P4, just behind Ticheney, and a little bit too far behind to really get ourselves up into P3 before the end of the race. But yeah, a nice move, especially with what happened at the start. We're up to P4 now, but as we come down here now, we're going to get into the slipstream with Ticheney. Remember, 1.5 second slipstream for Daily Race A, and then we're going to brake just as late as possible really here. We're going to try and make sure we brake around the 100, just before the 100. We take a very early apex here, trying to stay as tight as possible, but the car behind decides to floor it into us here, and he just drives us off the track. But it's all fun. This is Daily Race A. You have to expect them things on Daily Race A, because it's going to happen. So no hard feelings there. That is what Daily Race A is kind of about, I feel. Unfortunately, we did lose a few positions there and back down to P6. But a fun race. Another race that we will definitely be doing this week. I'm really looking forward to this week's daily races. Good fun. Next race, we have St. Croix B in Group 3 cars, and this is actually a race that we did on our open lobby session, and we actually pointed out they should do this race as a daily race B instead of Interlagos all the time. So maybe someone's listening, because we definitely pointed that out on the stream, because we did this exact combination for a laugh. We're going to use the Ford GT for this race, starting from P6. I decided to set a lap time because it's only 3 laps long. Could have been maybe better being 4 laps, but it is what it is. It's 3 laps. It's just over 2 minutes a lap. So let's see what we can do with this race. Now the cars to use here will be the Nissan GTR. Also this Toyota Supra I think is very strong. Lamborghini would be strong, however, as he bins it there, that is one reason why you don't use the Lamborghini, and one reason why I like GT Sport, because our race is not over. Like on iRacing, your race is over in that situation. But yeah, we get away with that. He makes a mistake, he cut across our line, nothing we could really do there. And yeah, the Lamborghini, very tricky car to drive, but he did get pushed wide a bit through that corner actually, so probably not all his fault. But Lamborghini will be strong here. Ford GT is pretty nice here. The Supra is going to be alright here. and the Nissan GTR is probably the strongest car. Also, probably the Aston Martin. I would like to see what that car could do here, because my guess is the Aston Martin would be pretty nice here. Maybe the Corvette as well would be interesting to give them cars a try. So maybe we'll do some races here as well this week. As we work our way through here, we let him go very deep into the corner in P5 there, and I decided to take a wider line to get a bit more exit speed, and you can see there it's really helping us out with the Ford GT being quite strong on the straight, especially in 6th gear. So we're going to go into 6th gear. Can we go round the outside of the Supra with a bit of slipstream assistance from the start of that straight, and now into this very tricky braking zone. Really tricky corner this to get right as we downshift the 2nd gear, hold the corner as much as we can. Be careful on the rear end there when you get on the power, and then we're into this really fast flowing section where we're now up to P5. So we've got a bit of a gap though, unfortunately, to the P1, 2, 3 and 4 battle. So it looks like it's going to be a bit of a defensive drive, because this track, like I say again, slipstream, it is quite a slipstream assisted track, so if you're in a slipstream you can gain quite a bit. But into the braking zone, trying to get the car into apex, powering out of that corner and working our way to start lap 2. So we're going to go defensive here and then back to the racing line, and then just before the corner I think we needed to go defensive because it looked like he might have sent that, and then braking just before the 100 board, trying to keep the car to the apex on the right hand side. He's just a little bit too far back to go for a move into the next corner, so we're probably not going to need to go defensive now on this lap as we work our way through into the braking zone. But yeah, a really fun track. I mean, it would have been quite nice to have this as a daily race C, because I've not really done this track in Group 3 that much, but I can imagine it being quite entertaining when you get up to speed on it. But yeah, at least it's a bit more variety this week with daily race B. Daily race C, we actually haven't had that for a while as well. Suzuka in Group 4. Now it sounds quite silly, but I think it's been a while since we had that combination as a daily C, and it's actually a really enjoyable combination. I think we're going to have a lot of fun there this week. But now we have a bit of a power battle between the Supra and the Ford. Next to us, you can see we're going to have to stay in the middle of the track to stay defensive, braking as late as we can while still trying to get a good exit from this corner, because he's then going to get the slipstream on the main straight. So will he be able to go for a move? So this time I decided again to try and concentrate on exit speed. He goes for that tight apex, we're going to go for the exit speed. I think he should have probably done what we did, because he would have got a nice bit of slipstream down the straight with a bit of extra exit speed as well. But we're going to stay to the right hand side of the track now. He's going to try and go to the left hand side. However, the Ford GT is a little bit stronger than the Supra in a straight line, so as soon as he breaks out of the slipstream, he hasn't got that grunt to really power out on the outside. So we're going to brake as late as we can down to 2nd gears. We have a car spinning off there into the wall. He's been reset to track, so we're up to P4 in this race. So quite an enjoyable little battle going on here. We're trying to defend from P5 and P6 behind us. There's 2 cars putting us under a lot of pressure through this lap. Can we manage to hold on all the way to the end? Now there is only 3 laps to this race, as we have a massive moment on the curb, so be cautious of that curb, because I nearly completely binned it there. We just got ourselves onto the curb, put the power down, the rear snapped, luckily we caught it, and we kept ourselves in P4. So again, working our way to start the lap. So we're going to go through a quick track guide again for this one, braking just before the 100 board on the left, downshift the 3rd gear. It's going to be very difficult to do a track guide while we're trying to defend from another driver, but we'll do the best we can here. So working our way into the next corner, again you're going to look for that 100 board pretty much just before that, downshift into 2nd gear. So just before the 100 board, downshift your car, get the car as much to the apex as possible. We miss the apex a little bit, but you can use the runoff on the curb quite well there. It doesn't actually spin you as long as you don't go too far wide. Now get the car to the left hand side of the track here, because you want to get the rotation into this really fast right hand corner. Downshift the 4th gear, then downshift the 3rd gear as you hit the apex, and let the car just coast and rotate through this corner before getting on the power. Don't be too early on the power, because you will hit the barrier there. But yeah, then you're working your way down to the end of the bridge, which again you're going to brake just between the 150 and the 100 board on your right hand side. So as you come through, you've got the 150, 100, brake just between them. Try and get your braking a little bit earlier if anything, because then you can get a little bit better exit speed from this corner. And now this corner is very tricky. I like to take a little bit of a wider line and then get on the power on the apex, and then upshift the 4th gear like that, and then take the exit speed rather than going through the corner fast. I prefer to concentrate on exit speed through that. Probably as the week goes on we'll improve at this track quite a bit, but yeah, Now working our way into the next braking zone. We're going to have to be a little bit defensive here. Decide to go back to the left-hand side, hoping that he doesn't send it up the inside. Braking just past the 150 board on the left, down to second gear. Get the right-hand tyre onto the apex and get on the throttle as early as you can. Use the full width for the track. And then this section is really fast and flowing. Completely flat out. Staying in 4th gear there. Upshift to 5th gear. Just a little bit of lift off the throttle just to get the car rotating through these corners, keeping the car to the left-hand side to keep the apex speed. And now working your way into the last corner, which brake just before the 100 board again. Downshift to 3rd gear. Power through the corner. And that is a lap complete of this track, and we managed to defend that lap as well. So we go over the line in P4 with a 207.6, I think it is. So not an amazingly fast lap, but I don't really know this track fully, so hopefully we can pick that track up through the week. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you for a live stream on these combinations later. Thanks for watching, everyone.